I have 5 envelopes in my nightstand drawer, white envelopes, sealed. Each one has a name on it. Each one contains a letter I wrote, but never mailed. I wrote them to the 5 people I destroyed with my mouth. 5 secrets I should have taken to my grave. Instead, I said them out loud. And each one cost me something I can never get back. I'm 91 years old. My name is Vivian. I was a hairdresser in Savannah, Georgia for 47 years. Do you know what a hairdresser is? It's a woman who hears everything. Every marriage, every affair, every diagnosis, every bankruptcy. Every secret this town had, at some point, sat in my chair. And for 47 years, I kept every single one. Except 5. The first secret I told cost me my best friend. Her name was Dolores. We'd been close since 1968. She sat in my chair every other Thursday for 31 years. I knew about her first marriage. I knew about her miscarriage. I knew about the time she almost drove to the bridge in 1983 and sat there for 2 hours before turning around. She told me that in the chair. Nobody else in the world knew. In 2001, I was at a dinner party. Dolores wasn't there. Somebody made a joke about strong women, and I said, and I will never forgive myself for this, I said, "Oh, you don't know strong. Dolores sat on that bridge for 2 hours and drove herself home." I said it like it was a compliment. I said it like I was honoring her. 3 people heard me. Within a week, 11 people knew. Within a month, Dolores's daughter called her and said, "Mama, is it true about the bridge?" Dolores called me the next day. She didn't yell. She didn't curse. She said one sentence. "I sat in your chair for 31 years, Vivian. I trusted you with my life, and you used it for a dinner party story." She never sat in my chair again. She never called me again. She died in 2014. I found out 3 days after the funeral. Nobody told me. I wasn't on the list. The first envelope in my drawer says Dolores. The second secret I told cost me my son's marriage. My son Calvin married a woman named Teresa in 1989. I didn't like her. I thought she was too quiet, too private, too different from our family. But Calvin loved her, and for the first few years I kept my opinion to myself. Then, one Thanksgiving, Teresa told me something in the kitchen while we were washing dishes. She said she'd been seeing a therapist because she was struggling with anxiety. She said, "Please don't tell Calvin I told you. He doesn't know how bad it's gotten. I'm working on it." I should have held that. I should have locked it in the vault where I kept every other woman's secrets for 47 years. But Teresa wasn't a client. She was family, and I told myself that made it different. I told Calvin, not to hurt her. I told myself I was protecting my son. I said, "Calvin, your wife is struggling and she's hiding it from you. She's seeing a therapist. You need to talk to her." Calvin confronted Teresa. Teresa asked how he knew. Calvin said, "Mama told me." Teresa looked at me across the Thanksgiving table with a face I still see when I close my eyes. She said, "I told you one thing, Vivian, one private thing, and you gave it to him like a weapon." She didn't come to Christmas that year. They separated the following March. They divorced in August. Calvin blames the divorce on a dozen things. I know exactly what started it. It started in my kitchen on Thanksgiving with my mouth. The second envelope says Teresa. The third secret I told cost me my reputation. In 2006, I was 67 years old. I had a good life. I'd paid off my house. I'd saved well. I had a comfortable retirement account. Nothing extravagant, but enough. And I made the mistake of telling my cousin Lucille exactly how much. We were sitting on her porch drinking lemonade, and she asked me how I was managing since I'd retired from the salon. I said, "Oh, I'm doing fine. I put away about $400,000 over the years. Between that and Social Security, I'm set." Lucille's eyes changed, just for a second, just a flicker. But I saw it, and I should have known right then. Within 6 months, 3 relatives I hadn't heard from in years called me, asking for money. Lucille's son needed help with a down payment. My niece needed surgery money. My late husband's brother needed a loan for a car. I said yes to all of them, because saying no to family felt worse than losing the money. None of them paid me back, not a dime. And the worst part was not the money. It was the silence afterward. Once they had what they needed, the phone calls stopped. The visits stopped. The Christmas cards stopped. I went from being Aunt Vivian to being a closed account. I lost $87,000. But what I really lost was the belief that my family loved me for me and not for what I could give them. The third envelope says Lucille. The fourth secret I told cost me my dignity. When I was 44 years old, I had an operation, hysterectomy, necessary. The doctor said it was the right decision, and it was. But it left me feeling hollowed out, less than, broken in a way I couldn't explain. And the pain afterward, not the surgical pain, the emotional pain, settled into my bones and stayed for years. I started telling people, not to get sympathy. I told myself I was being brave, being open, breaking the stigma. When women in my chair talked about their health, I'd share mine. When friends asked how I was doing, I told the truth. My knees are bad. My back aches. I don't sleep well. It's been hard since the surgery. People listened at first. They nodded. They said, "Oh, bless your heart." But over time, something shifted. They stopped asking. They stopped calling. They stopped inviting me to their card games and their garden clubs. One woman I'd known for 20 years said to another client in my own salon, "I love Vivian, but every time I talk to her, I leave feeling exhausted." I heard it through the wall. I was standing 6 feet away holding a pair of scissors, and I heard the woman I thought was my friend call me exhausting. She wasn't wrong. I'd made my pain my personality. Every conversation started with what hurt. Every answer to "How are you?" was a medical report. I became the woman people avoided, and I did it to myself. The fourth envelope says, "My own name." The fifth secret I should have kept is the one that cost me everything. My husband Earl died in 1998. Heart attack. He was 63. We were married for 34 years. Good marriage. Not perfect, but good. Earl was kind. Earl was steady. Earl came home every night and sat in that chair and asked me about my day. He wasn't exciting. He wasn't romantic. He was there. Every single night. There. After he died, I was lonely. Terribly lonely. And 2 years later, in 2000, I started seeing a man named Gerald. It lasted 8 months. It was nothing serious. Just two lonely people keeping each other company. It ended quietly. No drama. No heartbreak. Just two people who realized they were better off alone. I should have let it stay there. Quiet. Private. Nobody's business. But in 2003, my granddaughter Aisha asked me a question. She was 14. She said, "Grandma, did you ever love anyone other than Grandpa?" And I said yes. I told her about Gerald. I told her because I wanted to be honest. I wanted her to know that life goes on, that loneliness is real, that it's okay to want company. Aisha told her mother. Her mother told Calvin. Calvin called me and said, "Mama, how could you? Daddy hasn't been gone 5 years and you were already with someone else?" It didn't matter that Earl had been dead for 2 years before I met Gerald. It didn't matter that I'd grieved him properly. It didn't matter that Gerald was a decent man who treated me with respect. In my family's eyes, I had betrayed Earl's memory. Calvin didn't speak to me for 11 months. Aisha looked at me differently. The family that already thought I was a bank now thought I was disloyal too. I lost something I can't name, some kind of standing, some kind of authority. I went from being the grandmother whose word carried weight to being the woman who had a secret boyfriend. At 91, that's still how some of them see me. The fifth envelope says, Aisha. 5 envelopes, 5 people. 5 moments where I opened my mouth and lost something that silence would have protected. Dolores. 31 years of friendship. Gone because I turned her worst night into a dinner party anecdote. Teresa. My son's marriage. Gone because I convinced myself that betraying her trust was protecting him. Lucille. $87,000 and the illusion that my family loved me unconditionally. My own name, my reputation. Gone because I made my pain everyone else's problem. Aisha. My standing in my own family. Gone because I answered an honest question with a truth nobody wanted to hear. I keep those envelopes in my nightstand. I've never mailed them. The apologies are in there. every word I should have said. But I know that mailing them would just be opening my mouth again, giving people one more thing to react to, one more thing to spread, one more reason to talk about Vivian. So I keep them sealed, and I keep my mouth shut. Finally. If there's something you've been carrying that you want to tell someone, a secret, a confession, a truth you think will set you free, write it down, seal it, put it in a drawer, and leave it there. Not everything that's true needs to be said. Not everything that happened needs to be known. If there's a secret you told that cost you something, write it down. Just write, "I should have kept," and then the truth. That is all I got.